All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Seven Figures or Bust Podcast, the number one podcast in the world for growing your insurance business. Christian Brindle, Glenn Shelton. Hope you guys are off to a great start to your day. And we have a special guest for this episode today. We'll bring him up in just a second here. Before we get started on that, though, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. You know, at some point, I'd like to take a crack at the intro. I don't know if you guys have noticed the gatekeeping that's been going on this podcast since we started this, but I have yet to do an intro. I'm gonna hammer an intro tomorrow, so stay tuned for that,
Just
you guys.
Bar it in before I get a chance.
yeah, exactly.
I'm not an intro hog, as they say. Some people are intro hogs. They need to hog all the intros. That is not me. So I'm a gracious co-host.
Gracious co-host. Super excited about the pod today. We've got a special guest, and we have a special guest we lined up for next week that we're not going to tell you who that is yet. So the podcast has kind of caught fire. I don't know if everyone else has realized that, but that's kind of what's going on. I had a couple funny things I wanted to talk about. I don't know if we should wait for the guest, or maybe I bring up one of them. What do you think? What's your gut say?
Let's go over one of them, and then let's do any additional ones with our special secret guest today.
Our special secret guest. Okay, so yesterday I'm driving to the pool. Okay, I swim half the week, go to the gym half the week. Driving to the pool yesterday morning, my foot, I've got a lead foot, I guess. I'm going 60 and a 40. See a cop on the side of the road. It's right here in my town. I slammed on the brakes, thinking that's going to solve the problem. It does not. He pulls me over, and then a state cop comes up and joins him. I now have two cops on me, and they're like, what's going on? Why are you driving so fast? Where are you going? Blah, blah. I'm like, well, it's like just going to the pool. It's 6 a.m, going through all my information. I'm assuming my luck has ran out and that this is going to net into a pretty big speeding ticket. My son was reminding me yesterday. He's like, that's criminal speeding, Dad. That's criminal speeding. I'm like, okay, Reb. Okay. Okay. Ultimately, as a law-abiding citizen, which I'm assuming these officers realized I was, they let me go with a warning. So that's my fourth warning in 12 months. I counted yesterday. That's my fourth warning in 12 months.
I've gone 10 years, gotten rejected time and time again for warnings, and then I finally got one in the last 6 months, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? It was almost like, someone gets in a sales slump and they get the strike out, and then someone finally says yes. You're like, are you sure? You're not really, but
please.
Wait, what? You said yes? Yeah. Are you sure?
Are you sure?
That's how I am with the cop. I'm like, no ticket? Why? I can't remember what show their movie that's from. It's just like
that sounds familiar.
I can't remember what that's from. Why?
Why?
Why am I not getting a ticket? He got a ticket.
When I was younger, I think a cop looked at me like I'm some young punk kid. I got a ticket every single time. There was no question about it. Turned wrong here, speeding here, whatever it was. I would get the ticket. Now I think they look at me and they're like, oh, this poor guy. I think they just look at me and feel bad. I think maybe it's the baldness, you guys. Maybe if you lose your hair, the cops get sympathy. But that was kind of my little fun story that happened yesterday morning.
I love it. Without further ado, I want to bring up our guest and give him a proper introduction. He's someone that's been on the show before. He's someone that I have a great deal of affection for. The topic today is why are Medicare supplement carriers raising rates at really historic rates in many instances in many areas. And, he's somebody that I look at as an authority on the MedSupp space. I know a thing or two about MedSupp. He's really what I would call a aficionado. And he has a lot to add to this conversation in terms of just providing some statistics and providing some data behind kind of what we're seeing. He works for Physicians Mutual.
Big giveaway.
Mr. Andrew Saul, welcome to the show, my friend. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
My friends, how is the day. Thanks for the slow clap. I was really hoping you'd give me one of those Greatest Showman introductions that you guys do every week. But, this one did.
Lot to talk about, right, when it comes to Medicare Supplement. So,
yes,
I know you had another story you wanted to share before we jump into some of this chit chat about rate increases, Med Supp carriers, things like that. But what was your additional story, besides your ways of winning over police officers? I think we should start selling a course.
Of that. Maybe I should. Yeah, maybe I'm in the wrong business. Maybe I should be selling courses about how to interact with the police. I don't know. Maybe I've just gotten lucky, but I have one more thing here. I'm going to share my screen, and I thought this would be great to have Andrew on really fast, and we can kind of discuss this. All right. Let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Yep.
See that beautiful person right there in front of you? Okay. Now, tell me if audio's coming through. But here's the truth. Most business owners either don't have one or don't use it.
This is AI.
And it shows.
Is it? It is.
Using CRM sees a 29% increase in sales on average. That comes from Salesforce. Let this run for another few seconds here. Because when you follow up consistently and know where each lead stands, you stop leaking revenue.
You don't smile this much. That's
when
how I
you're
know.
Growing.
That's
exact. I said this to a friend yesterday because I was thinking the same. I was like, "Hey, what do you think of this? How close is this?" And that was his exact first response too. Is he's like, "You don't smile that much when you talk." It looks a little creepy. Right, it looks a little creepy. It's a the off, right?
Like a Glenn Shelton Muppet, and that's someone's controlling the Glenn Shelton Muppet.
And the other thing is, like, that photo we use over and over and over again for marketing purposes for various things, and so I know the photo better than the back of my own hand, and so I see that. I'm like, you can tell, but it is very good. If someone didn't know that photo and didn't know your mannerisms as well as I do. I spend hours every day staring at you on screens.
So it is as simple as a picture, right? The software takes a picture and then you can upload audio or you can upload a script and it will try to put audio in. So the software is getting crazy, right? The AI technology that's available. What really scared me when I was thinking about this was just something I was testing out with some of our staff members yesterday. I started to think about, what does this look like in 3 to 5 years, right? Are we going to be getting sent videos of ourselves and have to text back to people and be like, "Hey, that wasn't actually me"? Like, is that where this is headed? Because that's pretty scary if that's where we're headed. That kind of blew my mind yesterday when I really went there.
I don't know if you remember this, but a couple of years ago, the last summit we actually did in Salt Lake, I want to say 2023, there was a video played of me that we created internally, but one of the other speakers used it as kind of like a gag as part of their presentations. And it was of me, same kind of thing, right? It was taking my picture but it looked so much worse. Do you remember it? Like,
way worse.
Terrifying.
Yeah, now that you say that, it was really bad compared to that.
And but it sounded exactly like me. It was just horrifically scary. It looked like Skynet, but to think how much better quality that is today than that was 2 years ago, that advancement's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? How is this going to change things? How is this going to change things in the insurance world?
Good question.
I think that's probably a topic for its own day. That's an hour in and of itself. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but I don't want to derail this conversation necessarily. Andrew, do you have any quick thoughts on that before we jump into Med Supp stuff?
Yeah, I don't like it. That's my thought. I don't like it at all. Because that's reality. And 5 years from now, you're going to be entertained on social media by AI, and you're going to think it's a real person. And someone's just sitting behind a computer making a ton of money, just a ton, and you think it's really them. It's not. They're just programming things. It's like a cartoon for adults.
I think some of that's already happening, to be honest. Yeah. It's just going to grow, though. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, we'll have to
What's
do a
going to happen
full-blown
to
AI
screenwriters?
episode.
What's going to happen to
Oh,
people
yeah.
who write for TV show? I mean, they're already good. You would think with ChatGPT and anything, because I mean, I can write a book with ChatGPT.
ChatGPT can code for you, can write a book for you, it can create content for you, it can create algorithms for you if you know how to prompt it correctly. Like it can do your automations for you. It can do lead follow-up, talk to a lead for you. I mean, there's so many things it can already do. 3 years from now, there's no telling what it will be capable of doing. I think what we're seeing right now is
free.
And
if it's free, that means that they're making money somehow, and it's my info.
For sure.
It's exactly what they're making money on.
Yes,
things I'm searching, and then that pops up on Facebook.
Yep. Learning your behaviors. We'll have to do a full-blown AI episode, just a, state of a union, like where are we at with AI right now? Just because I feel like it changes so fast. You talk about it, 6 months goes by, and all of a sudden things have changed.
Let's shift gears into this episode sponsor before we jump in to the Med Supp rate stuff. Glenn, who is the sponsor of 114?
Guys, the sponsor of today's episode of the Seven Figures Robust podcast is brought to you by none other than Hire Heroes. If you are looking for a vetted virtual assistant, someone that can come into your business, come into your agency, and handle low revenue or no revenue generating tasks, help you focus on what's most important, Hire Heroes can get someone implanted into your agency in typically 2 to 5 business days. They can come in with a baseline knowledge of the insurance industry and help you handle these admin level tasks like CRM management, data entry, and inbound, outbound phone calls, and more. Do not wait. Don't waste your time. Head over to hireheroes.com right now, hireheroes.com, and grab your vetted virtual assistant today for as low as $10 per hour.
All right, Mr. Saul. So a lot of conversations about Med Supp, right? Like for those of you watching that don't know, you've lived under a rock of sorts. There's been a lot of volatility the last couple of years in many places with many carriers in the Med Supp space, some of which carriers that typically might have been known for having relatively friendly and reasonable rate increases in a lot of cases, not mentioning any names or anything like that. But you have a very thought out, data-driven thesis in terms of why we're seeing this. I kind of want to pass you the mic a little bit and kind of let you break this down for the people. And then Glenn and I can kind of jump in as we go and ask additional questions and add additional thoughts or anything we need to contribute to make sure we're earning our keep on this episode today.
Sure. So I think the first thing I would say is everything I'm going to tell you today is not as a representative of any carrier. It's just as someone who has inside's not the right word. Someone who's given their life to the Medigap arena for the past decade and loves this industry and wants to continue seeing this industry thrive, right? So because of that, there are some, I'm not even going to say players. There's some pink elephant's not the right word. There's some giant blue whales in the room that no one's talking about, and they need to be pointed out. So when we're looking at the landscape of Medigap as a whole currently, the largest blue whale in the room, pink elephant, is the rate increases, right? Rate increases and loss ratios. The largest blue whale in the nation. So for those who don't understand what rate increases are, it's obviously your premiums going up. And for those who don't understand what loss ratios are, because you're going to hear that word a lot today thrown around, a loss ratio is a mathematical equation. It's premium brought in on a plan divided by claims paid out for those plans. So it's premium divided by claims, right? So looking at the landscape currently of Medigap, I was on what do you call it? I was at Medicarians. I was on a panel, and the panel was essentially what is the future of Medigap, and no one really brought this up. The two things that were brought up were this. The first thing, and they're both mostly true. The first thing was, since COVID, a lot of people have put off elective surgery. So do this with me. Pretend you got this 2D mountain, right? Okay. She's got a napkin here.
Whoa.
You got this
Guys,
mountain. That's a triangle.
We have
That's
we
a
only
mountain.
work with the
Okay?
highest technology here on the pod.
Yeah,
Okay.
ChatGPT can't even buy this. Right? So you got this mountain, and up one side of this mountain, that's an elephant, by the way.
Andrew is
this
so
elephant
committed
climbing.
to not using AI that he's going to extreme lengths
That's
this morning on the
scary.
podcast. When he said he didn't
napkin
like
and
it,
a
this came to me.
For
So you got
the
this
audio,
elephant.
hang on a second. For the audio only audience, I want you to know what just happened. And for those only listening, we have a napkin that Andrew's holding to the camera with a triangle that he's using a highlighter with a triangle. There's an elephant on the top left side of this triangle,
You could
and
call
it's
that an
named
elephant.
COVID. It's a COVID elephant on the top left side of this highlighter pyramid. Okay. The audio only audience is up to speed. I just wanted to make sure we don't leave them out.
Thank you for that.
I'm gonna cry. All right, so you got this one elephant climbing this mountain. His name's COVID. And to a degree, I'm with you. All right. So COVID hit. A lot of people were putting off elective surgeries, right? Maybe knee replacement, maybe rotator cuff repair, something that wasn't an emergency, that was life or death. They were putting it off to a future period where COVID died down, or the herd mentality came in, and the disease was not affecting people like it was previously.
Right.
And then they were going in the hospital, outpatient clinics, outpatient surgeries, having these surgeries, right? All right. So that's one elephant climbing this side of the mountain. Now let me draw my next elephant. And I don't know if I'd say this looks like an elephant, but it's the best I got right now. I'm not a good driver. A good drawer. So the second elephant on the other side of the mountain over here, this is called Mount Medigap, by the way. We call it MM for short. This is Mount Medigap right here.
For the record, I believe you are a good driver, no matter what you say.
Thank you, brother. I do appreciate that. So on Mount Medigap, one side you got COVID, the other side you got an elephant climbing, and it's called under 65, whether it's on a group plan or ACA, right? So according to Limmer right now, almost 70% of the people on a group plan are on some form of a high deductible plan, right? Usually have an HSA, but they're on some form of a high deductible plan. Because they're on a high deductible plan, and I could poll probably any state in the nation right now and ask any teacher, how's your group plan look compared to 10 years ago? And I believe every teacher, probably in all 50 states, if you were to ask that question, if they've been with the same district for the past decade, would tell you, well, it's only got worse, right? Mm-hmm. Usually, group plans aren't getting better. Usually, they're becoming more they're trending towards single payer healthcare, where you're taking on a larger responsibility of the deductible and hopefully taking on a premium that's not horrific. But I tell you, not everybody's that way. I pay about $450 a month for my insurance, and I think I got a $12,000 or $15,000 max on it, something like that. So I mean, it's not the most attractive thing in the nation. Here's the point that they brought up Medicarians, and they're right. Coming up this side of the mountain, group plans aren't getting better. So where someone might have had that surgery in Mount Medigap, where someone might have had that surgery before, now they're not. And these two elephants are climbing this mountain, bro. It's killing me. And they're crashing, right? They're crashing on the side of this mountain. Now, both of those things are true. Both of these things are true, right? Both of these, maybe I'll just do Mount Medigap.
Both of these elephants are real, okay?
Both of these are real. Now, is the COVID elephant as real as it was in 2021 or 2022, especially on these new open blocks of business that have already seen the past 3 or 4 years of loss ratios?
Probably not.
But okay, hang on.
I don't know.
Hang on. Devil's advocate about this, because
go ahead, brother.
I think similar to the supply chain issues that happened during COVID, right?
Sure.
Some of it's fake, some of it's real, some of it's never recovered. And I have a feeling that the internal health, the hospital system that handles these types of procedures, there might be an effect that's felt for years, right?
Sure.
I mean, there's definitely some of that probably still going on.
Probably that lasting after effect is the increased cost of medical care, right? Medical care costs more. It's probably as simple as that. That being
True.
said, though, they can't point to increased cost of medical care when the block of business rolled out after the costs already increased.
They got 5 years of experience with it. They've seen what's happening. Yeah,
Right.
I think that's the point too. But no, I agree with you. So I think these two elephants are real. I do. I think they're real. I think Mount Medigap's real. I think we just refuse to acknowledge Mount Medigap here. We're going to start acknowledging it now.
How do we get there? Can we go
It's in
there?
Omaha, Nebraska.
I want to have a
Medigap here.
Mount Medigap.
I want to have a mastermind retreat at Mount Medigap with my closest
It'd be
friend.
beautiful. It'd be beautiful, brother. Beautiful. So let me tell you the problem. This is a 2D map, right? Looks like a little Mario game, right? Like a little 2D map. Now, what no one's talking about is the gigantic blue well that's coming up on a 3D mountain that's coming up on this backside. So hold on. Let me draw this backside.
By the way, at the end of this podcast, Andrew Saul, please post a picture of this napkin.
I'm actually going to sign it and give it away.
Send it to us.
Sell it to the highest
Send
bidder.
it to us. Yeah,
I will. Honest to God, I'm bringing it to Salt Lake City. It's coming with me.
Here's a better idea. Do a drawing at your Physicians Mutual booth at the summit.
For the winner,
the winner of the drawing gets the autographed artwork from this show.
Put it in a
you.
nice picture frame.
We're going to give it away for free at the end, just whoever wins the drawing. All right, Mount Medigap, you got the COVID elephant, you got the under 65 elephant. But on the back of this mountain that no one can see and no one's talking about, you got a really big elephant back here. And this guy, this guy's initials are CRS. Now, here's the problem. It's an actuarial term I'm going to give you, but it's reality. It's called charter rotation strategy. You guys ever heard the terminology charter rotation strategy before?
No.
Essentially, what it means is this. This is what you've been seeing the past decade. And there's some carriers that when I say this, you're going to point and say, that's what this freaking person's been doing, right? So charter rotation strategy works like this. The idea is to come in. So let's take your biggest Medigap carrier in the nation right now, owns about 15% of the market share. Okay. The charter rotation strategy would work like this. You come in with a premium that undercuts whoever owns the most lives in the nation, a premium that even though that carrier who owns the most in the nation can't sustain, come with a premium that's too good to be true, or an introductory premium, maybe that's better language, that they can't, that the largest carrier couldn't sustain if they had that. On your open block, you let's say you need $150 a month plan G just to hit bare minimum loss ratios, right? So you come in with $115 a month plan G, knowing you're going to lose profit your first reality 10 to 15 years on your block of business. You know you're not going to turn a profit for the first 10 to 15 years on this block of business.
That's a long time.
Once you hit year 11 through 16, whatever it is your actuaries have priced out for you, then you'll start hitting profits. And I'm going to show you all this in just a second, so y'all just don't take
Hang on a second. I have a question about this, because I was under the impression that there were rules in place that keep them from operating at a loss for more than 2 or 3 years. So
give me 5 minutes.
Okay. I was like, whoa.
That's not correct. Great. Now, there is a rule. Every DOI in the nation mandates that your block of business must maintain a minimum of 65% loss ratios once you've been in the business, been on the market for 3 years for that underwritten bar. Right? Okay.
That's the rule.
That's probably what you're referring to.
Yeah.
So they're coming in the market, rates that are too good to be true, operating and taking a loss, trying to gain as much market share as they can. Now, ultimately, what market share are they going after? So in the actuarial world with Medigap, I'm going to use some simple math for you. Let's say your goal is to be as close to the number one as possible. Okay. Just the number one with me. Every underwritten app you bring in is a 0.5. So that brings you even better than a number one, right? Every guaranteed issue app you bring in is worth 2 points. So that brings you real far away from the number one. Every open enrollment app you bring in is 1.1 points. So if all you're getting is open enrollment apps, your rates are going to go through the roof. You can't sustain it because there's too many people coming on that are using your services that are driving up your loss ratios. If all you got was GI business, that would really turn you out, right? Because now you're only getting people who are not coming on underwritten or open enrollment. They have a reason that they can only come on GI. But if you're getting underwritten business, you're getting business that can pass your set of standards, right? So the goal for someone coming in with this charter rotation strategy is to bring as much underwritten business on your block of business while also swallowing up that turning 65. It's not bad business turning 65. It's just not as good as underwritten, right? To take as much of that business as you can. Ideally, you're looking at 40+% underwritten. If you can maintain a book at 40+% underwritten, this charter rotation strategy is going to work for you, right? So that's the goal. Undercut the market. Know you're going to take losses for a decade or more till you can finally turn a profit. And the result isn't who can operate on the lowest profit margin, right? If that was the case, then we would have seen some of the carriers who recently got out of the market stay in the market. And the carriers I'm talking about that were offered Medigap, right? So that's not the goal. The goal is to see who can withstand the greatest losses for the longest amount of time to weed out the carriers who can't. You guys following me so far? Go ahead, Glenn. Were you about to say something?
Yeah, I had a quick. So the 40% target ratio. Any idea how many are actually maintaining that type of balance in their book? Is that common or less common? Would you guess?
There are some showings on NAIC filings. There is one I'm going to show you right now on Genry's filings that kind of point towards that. I mean, it can't be common amongst everyone because everyone can't win, right? But the goal, 40+. Now, if you have more reasonable rates, like a more stable carrier, you don't have to have 40% to survive, right? You could survive with 30%. Now, a great underwritten block would be 30%, but you could survive with 30%, knowing, because this is what you need to know. No matter what you do in a block of business, you're going to maintain 60% of your people. Doesn't matter what you do with your rates. It doesn't matter what you do with your company. You're going to maintain 60%. Let me give you an example. Have you ever sat down with someone who's on a plan F paying $400, $500, $600, $700, $800 a month, and you could save them $400 or $500 a month to roll them to a plan G, and they refuse to do it? Either they're afraid, I don't want to mess it up, it's worked for me so far, or I'm just scared, overwhelmingly scared. About 60% of your block is going to stay no matter what you do. That's just ultimately where it sits right now, about 60%. So we're talking about clawing for that 40% who are willing to move. So that's really what the charter rotation strategy is going after. Gain as much of the T65 business as you can, or the Medigap open enrollment business as you can, but ultimately trying to get as much of that underwritten business as you can as well. So while they're targeting their underwritten rates anywhere from 65 to 69 or 70-ish, where you're going to see the lowest plan G rates maintain the lowest plan G rates for a first year senior coming on the plan. That at 69, their rate, if a 69-year-old is to take that plan G, it's the cheapest plan G in the nation or for your state. If a 65-year-old's take a plan G, the same carrier wants to have the cheapest G, knowing they're going to take a loss. Now, is everybody with me so far? Go ahead, Christian.
Yes.
Teacher, I have a question.
Teacher.
I've had agents ask me this question 100,000 times, and I'm sure you just as much. This could very well be pointed to the answer to this question, I feel like, because since the beginning of time, there have always been carriers that will try to undercut the market, right? They'll try to put out the lowest possible rate that there is. And not always, but oftentimes, the cheapest rates in an area are going to be carriers that are not necessarily household names, right? Little tiny carriers.
That's what I'm getting at. Right.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't mean to skip ahead of you, but that's the first thing that comes to mind for me, because I feel like this strategy is commonly used by not to cast aspersions on any carriers, but
usually
not always, but often ankle biter carriers, as they call them, right? Not to cast aspersions on any carriers.
Rude.
How
would you like it if I called you an ankle biter? Okay.
there are some that do, okay?
No, I understand. You're not wrong, but now there's a lot of major players that are doing the same thing. And without sharing any names today, I'm almost positive I blacked out everyone's name. Man, I really hope I did. If someone finds a name, I'm so sorry. But if you do want to know who these carriers are, you can message me later, private, because this is all public information that I'm going to share with you. I just would rather not publicly, even though it's public information, and even though I have a moral problem against some of the things that Medigap carriers are doing in the nation, I still don't want to publicly shame anyone because I don't want to be known as that person. Does that make sense? All right.
Absolutely.
So let me share some things with you guys. I think I'm about to share my whole screen, but that's okay. I'm just going to have to. Google Chrome would like to record. No, you ain't going to record Google Chrome.
It will allow me to preview it too before I push it up. So
okay,
that might help too, just to make sure it's sharing
Let's
the right screen.
Yep. 2 seconds.
Some great questions coming in the chat right now, you guys. If you want to ask a question, we'll make sure to get to it before the end of the episode, unless we get too many questions. But please drop your comment or question below on this stream. Also, it gets you an entry in a Freebie Friday. So Freebie Friday happens every Friday. We do a giveaway right here in this group. We've already given away almost $100,000 worth of leads, services, summit tickets, etc. So drop your question or comment below.
Wouldn't it be great if I knew how to share my screen?
I would.
So at the bottom of StreamYard, there's a button that says present. And then
I hit that, but it won't let me share like what's on my desktop.
Should be a few different options.
I wonder.
If you can't get it to work, you could always send it to me and I could share it.
All right. I'm going to email it to you right now.
Do you want to try that?
Yep, I'm going to email it to you right now.
Send
so there's several things you're getting.
Brother Brindle.
So there's several things we're going to go through. Christian, what's your email? Can you share that on live, or you want to type it in the chat?
Sure.
Christian
at eSeniorIns.com.
I got it.
Everybody email Christian right now. Everybody email Christian right now. Send him something crazy.
Okay, Christian, there's 12 attachments. See if you can grab that.
Okay.
All right, we're going to start with a filing through Genry. I don't know if anyone has ever heard of Genry before. Essentially, it's a actuarial company that takes, well, one of the things they do is they take Medigap carriers and they poll them, and Physicians Mutual is one of them, actually. We just got done with our 2024 polling, so you're going to only see 2023 on this because 2024 is not out yet. But it's polling questions with Medigap carriers, asking them certain questions. So, Christian, did that go through for you?
Not seeing it yet, and I'm refreshing. Did it send?
Let's see. On my side,
big file. It might take a second.
Big old file.
It did.
Okay.
You got it?
I don't have it yet.
Well,
I'm refreshing.
While we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and answer this question from James. I think this is a great question. What happens when all of the COVID delayed healthcare claims fall off a cliff? Do rates go down? So is it possible that that elephant rolls off the other side of Medigap Mountain? and once it's off the mountain, are we good to go?
That's a good question. I think we're primarily there. So that's an argument I'm going to make. I'm not letting COVID. Don't go for that one yet. Go for the Genry.
Okay.
It's a PDF. Keep going.
That would make sense.
Sorry, it's kind of in a crazy order here.
Going. Yep.
Oh my God.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
You're ruining his whole presentation right now.
Keep going. Yeah, this is Texas. Keep going. Keep going. There you go. Open that.
Okay.
Yeah, open that. All right, scroll down.
Open.
Keep going. All right, so Genry, it's polling all these Medigap carriers. Now, what's unique, keep going. We're going to talk about open and closed blocks of business, but specifically open. Next page.
This episode of the 7 Figures or Bust podcast is brought to you by the 7 Figure University. 7figureuniversity.com is a culmination of Christian Brindle's and mine's educational videos that we have developed over the past 2 decades of combined experience in the senior insurance space. There's more than 250 videos, hundreds of hours of content that can help you become a top producer or a top producing agency in the senior insurance space. We're talking about videos of how to work with specific carriers, how to do different types of marketing, such as seminars or Facebook advertising, how to generate content in the niche to help grow your business, how to grow an agency, all sorts of things. There's so much value in this. It's unbelievable. Christian, what do agents need to know about Seven Figure University?
Seven Figure University can best be thought of as an agency blueprint in a box that's put together for you that brings you step by step in every facet of building a successful seven-figure insurance agency and lays it out all in front of you so you can follow along. Whether you guys need help with marketing, whether you guys need help with branding, whether you guys need help with hiring, training, standard operating procedures, systems and processes, automation, you name it, it's covered in this course. Not only that, you get access to my weekly training calls every Thursday that go from January through the end of September on a week-to-week basis. And you can attend those live and ask questions live. And then, of course, the recordings are put into the university afterward if you can't attend it and make the live training. So there's just so much value. It's the gift that keeps on giving, and it's a great investment into your business to kind of keep you up to date on what's going on, but also kind of point you in the right direction in various things that you're struggling with.
Some of the best training you'll be able to find, you guys, in one spot for one price. Go to sevenfigureuniversity.com and learn more.
Let's get back to the show.
And if you will scroll in where it says profit margins, I want you guys to see where it's talking about open blocks of business. This is from 2023, right?
Zoom in, Christian, so everyone can see it. That plus.
Average profit margins right there, open blocks. This is across your top 40 carriers in the nation. The average Medigap carrier right now on an open block of business is losing 6%.
Whew.
What that means is if they bring in $100 in premium, they are spending $105.90 to continue operating. So this isn't some mystical thing that I'm pulling out of the back of my hat. This is actual reality for the average carrier right now because of this charter rotation strategy. And we're talking about major players now too. Major players, not just no names. The average carrier is losing almost $6 for every $100 that they bring in on an open block of business. Now, I don't have to have my MBA. I don't have to have my doctorate in economics, right, to understand that's not sustainable. Can we all agree with me on this? It's not sustainable.
Agreed. Absolutely.
So if you're losing on your open block, what do you have? And look at this. Look at that range. Some of the carriers are losing 31.3% on their open block of business. Do y'all understand that?
Crazy.
Do you know what they're telling you right here? They're telling you they are purposely, this is an open block. That means they're factoring in on an open block what their strategy is. And their strategy is to purposely lose $31.30 for every 100 they bring in. So when they close that block of business and you're too sick to pass underwriting, here's your options. You either pay $600 a month for your Plan G at 75 or you roll to an MA. And if you've got a diagnosis that won't allow you to pass to another Medigap carrier, how many of you know you probably don't want to roll to an MA at that point? But if your premium's too high, what are you going to do? Now, I'm not talking if you live in a birthday or anniversary rule state. You live in some GI state, anniversary rule state, birthday rule state, roll your client to the cheapest Plan G every year. I'm talking about the other 30-something states that don't have these rules.
Yeah, what happens if you're in a rural area? There is no Medicare Advantage network. You're on a plan, you get sick, the premium's starting to creep up, you can't afford it. What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, you pay it. You pay it or you go the traditional Medicare Advantage Supp route. And if you're too sick to pass underwriting, you don't want to do that. That's not right. That doesn't make sense. Okay, so here's the first, and if anyone wants these, I'll share these. Once again, this is all public. So let's pause here. Unshare this, Christian. Can you look at the names of the files I sent you? You able to see those names?
Christian, do you know how to read?
2 seconds. Hold on.
Teacher would like to quiz you.
Will you please open the file? And y'all, these names are just the name. Will you please open the file HMMP 241? So I want to talk about one of the largest carriers in the nation. This is the state of Texas, but I can pull any state that you want to see. This is a block of business that opened in 2019, closed in 2024. Okay. So there should be one in there called HMMP 241.
I believe I got the right one. Tell me if this looks right.
You know it's right. Yep, that's right. Okay. So this is one of the largest carriers in the nation. Okay. State of Texas. This is their filing for 2024 from 2023. Okay. You can see in the sentence after the little gold, it says the requested increase of premiums would be May 1st, 2024, right? So on this carrier, first year they're going to close this block of business. They took a 15% rate increase on F&G. Does everybody see that right there? 10% on N?
Yes.
Now, this is inflation increase. This is important too. This is not age increase. You got to add another 2 to 4% for an age increase, right? All right, Christian, will you now open HMMP 242? So 15% inflation increase on G. And now look what the carrier says. First year they're closing this block of business. First year, 15% inflation increase on G, 10% inflation increase on Plan N. Yep. Read this with me. Future expenses were projected based on our experience through April of 2023. Last sentence. The future loss ratios with this increase is projected to be between 95 and 96%.
Whew.
What is that telling you? With a 15% inflation increase on G and 10% on N, we expect with that increase to turn a profit of $4.50 or $3.40 for every $100 we bring in.
Crazy. Listen, I had no idea. I had no idea it was this bad.
We about to get even worse.
Blocks.
That's first year the block closes. First year the block closes. Christian, opened the one HMMP 251. Second year this block is closed.
If you had asked me before showing me some of these numbers, I would have said for sure they're losing money, like on these closed blocks, and that's part of the problem. But I would have never guessed to the degree.
I'll get ready for this. All right. Go ahead, Christian.
I was just going to say, I mean, certainly, I think it hasn't been a secret that a lot of these Medigap companies are losing money in a lot of these blocks, but these numbers are ridiculous. These numbers are crazy.
This is
I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse.
This is
all right.
Crazy.
Second year block is closed. State of Texas. 15% inflation on A, F, and G. 12% on N. Now remember, last year, 15% on F and G, 10% on N, and our loss ratios are going to be 95 to 96%. Right? Next year, second year block closes. Christian, open HMMP 252. 15% on F and G, 12% on N, and with those increases, this carrier is projecting.
Drum roll.
Read that last sentence. Somebody read that last sentence to me.
The future loss ratios with and without discounting are projected to be 100.1% and 102.5% respectively.
All right, I need to redefine loss ratio because I don't think everyone understands.
Yeah, please do.
Please do.
Here's loss ratio. It's a mathematical equation. Premium brought in divided by claims paid out. This is not paying rent. This is not paying for your fax machine. This is not paying commissions. This is not paying bonuses. This is not paying for your actuaries, your underwriters. This is premium brought in divided by claims paid out. Now, second year this block is closed in the state of Texas, and they're telling you, even with a 15% inflation increase on F and G and 12% on N, we're still losing money. What does that mean? That means they're letting you know they're keeping their loss ratios low, or excuse me, their rate increases lower than they should be for now, knowing what they're going to do when you're too sick to pass underwriting. They're trying to keep as many as they can before they have to drop the hammer. Kristen, open the next one. HMAC 241. HMAC241. And listen, this is how my computer saved the files. HMAC241.
Guys, he has a secret code. He has a secret code attached to these files.
This is a block of business
what it means.
from the same carrier, except
names.
this one opened in 2023. Okay. Block of business, same carrier. This one opened in 2023. On their open block of business, first year, 7.5% rate increase. Okay. When everyone else is taking 20 to 30, this one, first year, 7.5%. Christian opened HMAC 251. This is their first year in the block, 23 to 24. This is their brand new rate increase, second year, open block of business. Okay. Now you saw their closed block. Second year, open block. First year only took a 7.5% rate increase. Second year, they're taking, nope. HMAC 251.
Oh, my bad.
HMAC 251. First year, 7.5%. You saw their closed block. This is their open block. This is Texas. We can pull any state you want to see. Second year, 18% on A, 19.8 on F, 14.8 on G, and 8 on Plan N. Okay. Second year goes into effect July 1st this year, right? Christian, please open HMAC 252. 14.8 on G, 19.8 on F. I don't remember. 8 on N.
Yeah. So here's something I'm thinking about is if we could step back into a time machine right now, we go back 10 years to when I'm a brand new agent in the industry.
Oh, pause, Glenn. Please read to me the sentence that starts the projected loss ratios over all years with an open past and future closed with and without discounting.
Is this the hammer? Is this the hammer drop here?
For anybody that listens on the audio only platform, I'll read that for you. So the projected loss ratios for 2024 and 2025 are 104.3% and
now what about going forward? Read me going forward, the next sentence.
The projected loss ratios over all years, past and future, with and without discounting, are 122.7% and 125.8%.
Are you listening to this? 14.8% inflation on G. And with that, we're going to lose $22 to $25 for every $100 we bring in. Is that sustainable?
Unbelievable.
No.
Is that sustainable? No. So ultimately, what are you doing when you're putting someone on the cheapest Plan G available? Essentially, if they're unable to pass underwriting, disclaimer, this is not a birthday anniversary rule or GI state that I'm talking about. I'm just talking about a state that doesn't have GI rights. If they can't pass underwriting, you're damning them to two options. Have a rate that's not sustainable in the future or go to an MA. Why am I telling you that? Rate increases. What do we base rate increases on? Two things, age and medical inflation. Is everybody with me so far? Everybody with me? Yep. What's your Social Security check based on? CPI. Consumer Price Index, right?
Yep.
Which one goes up faster? The loss ratios of this carrier with medical inflation or CPI? You ever seen your Social Security check go up 22 to 25% in one year? Absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not. But you're seeing a carrier who only took a 14.8% on G and an 8% on N come out and say, with this rate increase, we realistically should be significantly higher of a rate increase, but we're not going to. We're going to give you a much lower one to lure as many people in as we can get to hopefully get as much on the block of business as possible, knowing this is the moral problem I have with it. Knowing when that block of business closes, the alligator chomps.
Yep.
All right, let's open another one.
Andrew,
I'm not done.
Andrew
I'm so sorry.
has brought the receipts today.
I'm so sorry. Let's go.
He's not just here to talk about it.
No, I'm not just here to talk about it because no one's going to tell me I'm wrong. ACNB 251, brand new block of business, just closed this year, going under a new name. Brand new block. This is their third year in the market in the state of Texas. ACNB1. Dang. Is this what I'm looking for? Yeah. Okay. 28% inflation increase on Plan G in the state of Texas. Y'all see this? 28%. Everybody seeing this?
Yep.
Okay. Plan N is 18%. You average it up as 26.2%. So where you're getting that total at the bottom. All right. Now open for me ACNB 252, please. Block of business opened in 2022. This is their rate increase in 2025. They're closing this year. ACNB 252. Here's my proof. They opened in 22. Their loss ratio is 52% first year, 81% second year. Nationwide, third year loss ratio was 98.6%. Okay. Now you ready to get sick to your stomach? Please open, because a lot of carriers are writing this, or a lot of agents are writing this carrier. ACNB 253. Let me interpret this for you. ACNB 253. This is their file with the Department of Insurance in Texas. All right, zoom in, please. Okay. Does everybody see where it says 2025 right there? Will you put your mouse on 2025, far left side of the page? All right.
Yep.
2025 with a rate increase, current loss ratio factor to the right, 104%. Okay. You follow me so far? Okay. Scroll down all the way. I want you to read a disclaimer down here. So zoom out. Yeah, scroll down. There's a disclaimer at the bottom.
These numbers are
See that disclaimer. The current loss ratio is being used to project future experience. The current loss ratio projected, assuming an 8% trend for medical inflation, 3% age. Scroll back up. So go to where it says current loss ratio factor, and it has that asterisk next to it. You see that?
Yeah.
Go down a little. Yep. Okay, so what this means is if the carrier was to only take an 11% rate increase every year, 8% for inflation, medical inflation, 3% in age. The year 2025, if they only took an 11% increase, 104% loss ratio. What about the year 2045, 20 years from now? If they only did 11% increase every year, 881% loss ratio.
881%.
Listen to me. If they only took an 11% increase every year, 881%. How is this morally okay?
Wouldn't there be, I mean, are they factoring in the loss of people dying and switching plans? Like, are they looking at,
there's a 15% mortality rate.
The block
15% mortality rate.
So the block will continue to shrink. So even if the loss ratio gets wild, if the block gets smaller, they're covered. These numbers are wild. This is crazy.
One more thing. Bring it back up, Christian. One more thing. On the far right, you can see what factor they would have to increase their premiums by in order to maintain loss ratios of 85.4%. See projected loss ratio of 85.4%. Go down to the year 2045. Go over to rate increase factor, 10.328. What does that mean? That means if a 65-year-old today bought their plan, by the time they turn 85, if the company wanted to have an 85.4% loss ratio on them, their premium would have to increase by a factor of 10.328. It means if you've got a $125 a month plan G at 65, by the time you're 85, it's over $1,200 a month. Please, someone tell me how this is okay to treat the most underserved, abused people in our nation, 65 and over, the elderly population, how to put them on a plan. This is what you do when you put someone on the cheapest plan G, cheapest plan. Essentially, you're putting them on a plan that over the lifetime, disclaimer, you're in a birthday anniversary rule state, cheapest G every year. Every year. You're on a GI state, New York, Connecticut, cheapest plan every year. No problem.
Those states will have different rules for this,
right?
For these types of metrics and numbers. But the vast majority of states, as you mentioned earlier, doesn't play by those rules.
Nope. And if you put someone on the cheapest plan and they can't pass underwriting, congratulations. You have damned that person to the most expensive plan G possible or rolling to an MA. Now, pause. Should you contract with that carrier? You bet your butt. Here's why. 3 reasons. First reason, you should have the cheapest plan G in your pocket. Because I know this is counterintuitive. Here's why. First reason. If someone's going to pass away in the next 2 years, they need to be on the cheapest plan available. Okay. It's your first reason. Second reason, you will find people out there who refuse to take whatever you say. And some 1-800 number called them, said, we got the cheapest G. Here it is at $98 a month. You should take it. You should be able to sell that plan to them. Tell them, listen, I can sell you that plan and I'll be able to service you. Why? You should get paid. Don't not get paid. Absolutely get paid. Third reason you should have the plan, same thing. They're going to tell you that their hairdresser got that plan and it's the best plan for it. It doesn't matter that you've been in the market 28 years. Their hairdresser told them to get that plan, so that's the plan they're going to get. By all means, if you have educated someone and told them about the pros and cons and warned them and they still choose it, listen, agent, get paid. Don't miss out on getting paid for that policy. But educate these people. You're doing a disservice. In fact, at best, you're just ignorant. When you sit down in front of someone and give them the cheapest plan G or cheapest plan N possible without knowing what's going to happen to that client over the lifetime of the policy, if they turn out like the vast majority of seniors 70 plus and they can't pass anymore. And now you got two options. You just pay that increase a factor of 10.3 times higher than what your premium is, which if you guys look at it, it's a rate increase of almost 40% a year once that block closes. So either you pay that or you roll to an MA. That's your two options. Not right.
Here's what I'd like to do, right? We're getting close to the top of the hour. We still have about 6 minutes left on the show. Instead of doing final thoughts today, I'd like to bypass those and make sure that we have some time to go through some questions, because we haven't had a ton of time to go in through a lot of questions. First, so I'm just going to kind of scroll up on the live stream of this. And of course, this will go all over the place. So, and you'll have an opportunity to hear how you can get in touch with Andrew if you have specific questions later, if you watch on a litany of other platforms that the recording will be on. First question, Andrew, I don't know if you can answer this one. And if you cannot, please let us know. It's no biggie. But the first question, naturally, right, that the first thing somebody might think of, Andrew, how does Physicians Mutual Medigap fit into all of this? Don't know if you can
I'll let you answer this. Pull up CSG. I'll let you answer it. Pull up CSG.
Like me right now?
Like me right now.
I don't know if we have time.
Physicians Mutual is unique in the game because they have a patented Medicare supplement called the Innovative G, which I'm telling you guys is the most important plan you could put a senior on. It's the most important plan you could put them on. The vast majority of the Plan G population, in my opinion, should be on this plan. Why? Because it's the healthiest block of Plan G business in the nation. Because of that, it keeps our loss ratios reasonable. We just closed a block of business. It's the second year closed. We just filed in the state of South Carolina. In South Carolina, our loss ratios are 70% on Plan G. The Plan G took a rate increase of 7.5%. But go ahead, pull CSG up. Let's look. So this isn't just me telling you.
My CSG, unfortunately, is not cooperating.
See if I can do mine.
It's been happening a lot lately. This is what I'm getting. I can fix it, but it will take me a second. Not enough time in the show today.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Christian.
Medicare. Thanks, Medicare Center.
Oh, 2 seconds. I got another computer behind me, so I look a little weird. Let me see if I can share my screen. Because now I'm on my actual...
Someone asked what CRS stands for. They missed the start of the podcast.
What's CRS?
Charter rotation.
Charter rotation strategy. Sorry.
Yeah. CRS,
right, let me see
charter
if I can
rotation strategy. Go back a little bit earlier in the pod. Went really deep into that.
Just rewatch from the beginning would be my advice.
Yeah.
There you go.
Can y'all see my screen?
You did it.
Okay, give me 2 seconds here. Run the quote. This is my home. Give it 2 seconds to populate that quote. And then here's a good strategy for you guys. If you have CSG, now it's a little biased because you're only seeing open blocks of business. But come over here on the left side of the page. So everyone sees over here on the left where it says Market Analytics. Hit that little drop down. We're going to scroll down. You can see a carrier like Bankers Fidelity. This is their first year in the market. So their loss ratios are really low. That's normal. Wait till a carrier gets to their second or third year in the market. Let's see. Physicians Mutual right here. 78% in the state of Texas, 83% nationwide.
Strong.
Yep.
Yeah. much better than some of these other numbers we were looking at for sure.
It's not 125%.
I think we have
Yeah.
time for
The closer you get to 65, the better your rate stability is. Historically, I've yet to see a carrier with better rates and stability. It's my opinion,
I think we have time for one more question, gentlemen. And ultimately, guys, if you guys have any additional questions, and we went through a lot of information in a shorter period of time in the scheme of things, this might be something that you might need to reach out to Andrew specifically on if you have any specific questions. But good question. This is probably going to be a carrier by carrier basis, but if we ask carriers about their expected loss ratio, would they give it to you?
No carrier. None of them. You're going to have to dig it up yourself on your NAIC filings. None of them. Yeah. No one.
So
I'll give you ours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a selling point for you for your carrier.
I'm not embarrassed.
Which most carriers it's not.
Not embarrassed at all.
Carriers not. I wanted to say one thing, guys, right? Kind of, pulling up some of these numbers, digging through these numbers, not picking on any particular carriers. It's not what we're trying to do here. We partner with a lot of carriers, but I have been extremely bullish for probably 3 years now on the Physicians Mutual MedSupp product. Been a big supporter, big proponent. It's become one of our 5 largest MedSupp carriers that we offer internally. It's growing every year. If you guys don't have the contract, or maybe you have it, but you're not working with Andrew, if you contract with us, you work with us and Andrew together. It's a package deal when you work with us. So you can either pick it up from scratch from us, or you can move it to us relatively easily. We are taking on new agents every week with Physicians Mutual. So reach out to me, private message me, or you can reach out to our contracting team at contracting@eSeniorIns.com. And we can hook you up. Andrew, any last words you want to mention on this? And also, how can the people get in touch with you if they so chose to do so?
Yeah, probably email. My email is Andrew, ANDREW, .Saul, that's SAUL, at physiciansmutual.com. Christian's right. You contract with us through Christian, I'm going to work hand in hand with you. You can have my personal cell phone number. You can text me. You can call me, whatever you need. We do trainings like this weekly where we get into the nitty gritty in the market. I don't just do carrier specific trainings, because agents need to be informed of everything going on in the market. We even have annuity trainings in my carrier. We don't sell annuities. But the point is this: if you want to be a part, absolutely email me. Would suggest Christian Brindle. He's one of the best FMOs we got. Though we have many, and we love them all. I'm really love my buddy Christian. Super.
It's mutual. It's mutual.
And Glenn looks good too.
Thanks, Andrew. We really appreciate your time.
Listen, I wait 2 seconds. I can't wait to bring this to Salt Lake City.
Please do.
Right now.
Please do. I'm going to be disappointed if you don't.
Can you blow it up as a banner, as a retractable banner?
I have signed this thing. It's coming with me. We're going to give it away to
Yes. Andrew, I think we need to have you back. I'd love to do a birthday rule episode. We didn't even really get into birthday rule. I think we could do a whole episode about birthday rule, and that would be really awesome. So
and look at how it drives loss ratios. Look at what's happening in the states that it's in. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Appreciate you, my friend, for taking the time this morning. You're always such a generous giver of your time, and super knowledgeable, and present the information unlike anybody else. And you're the man. You're the best of the best at what you do, and I appreciate you and appreciate your partnership. And thank you for being on the show today.
Yes. Thank you, Andrew.
Guys, if you'd like to see a birthday rule episode with Mr. Andrew Saul breaking down some of these similar numbers but applying it to the birthday rule scenarios, make sure to let us know. Comment. We'll probably try to spin that up in the next couple of weeks as time allows. We do have this event coming up. I don't know if you've heard about it, in about less than 3 weeks. So we'll see what happens. We'll try to do it as soon as possible. But let us know if that's an interest you guys would like to have talked about on the show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on whatever platform you might be listening to us on. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you watching all the way to the end. You're the reason that makes this show worth our time to do, and we can't thank you enough for that. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Here's to your massive success. And thanks for being rock stars. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next episode.
Happy selling.